Everybody, and welcome to another episode on the Love Evolution, where we are focused on bringing you more love, more prosperity, and more joy into your life. And I have great pleasure in introducing our guest for today, Kim Thalken. She is all the way from Los Angeles, California. And Kim is an intuitive channel. She is a quantum healer and a hypnotherapist. So I think today's session is going to be really quite interesting. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you so much, Kaz. Thank you for having me.
All right, Kim, let's start off with when did you realize that you had intuitive and healing abilities?
Well, it was a process. I think in my 20s, I had a circumstance come up in a personal relationship that I had where my intuition really came online, and and it guided me through a situation that I was in a relationship that I was in. And that's when it became really clear, like, whoa, I was really guided to explore my relationship on a deeper level that led me to ending it. And it became very clear to me that that was another aspect of me that I wasn't aware of before. And it was that dynamic that led me to seek deeper answers around this relationship because I really wanted to know, what happened there. It was, I had an idea of what this relationship was supposed to be, but boy, did it turn out to be completely different. And I thought, there's more to this than meets the eye. And it was really my soul coming through. I want to understand things on a soul level. I didn't know that in my 20s, but that's what was happening. And so that led me on the journey of self-discovery and a deep uh, interest in this line of work. So yeah, that was when I made the connection that, wow, that was something inside of me that I didn't know was there before.
Right. So it guided you by pointing you to the red flag. That's something
Yes, yes,
that
essentially it
is
was red flags. That's correct.
right.
Yes.
Okay. So that was protecting you at that time. Hey. So Kim,
Yes.
were you doing before all the woo-woo stuff? And I use that word not in a derogatory sense. It's I just love all the woo-woo stuff, what everybody calls woo-woo. I just love it.
I, I know. I'm the same with you, Kaz. The more you start to kind of explore it, the more it kind of pulls you in,
Yeah.
because it really is our soul coming online, and you begin to you can't get enough of it, really, because it's bringing you so much joy. It's bringing you so much awareness. It's changing your life. You're seeing the world from such a different place. But before I came down this path, I started out very traditionally in life. I went to graduate school. I got my master's in business, and I thought, oh, I'm going to go climb that corporate ladder, right? And I did that for a little bit. I went into the entertainment industry, and I worked on the business end of entertainment in sales and licensing of content. I worked at the Hollywood studios. I worked at some of the cable networks out here, selling and licensing their content. Um, and while I was in the corporate world, these situations were unfolding, like the one I just talked about. So it piqued my interest as I was in the corporate world, and I just kept going with that interest and exploring more and more. And then ultimately, Kaz, I had my daughter, and I took some time off to be with her. So I was in between jobs. And it was while I was home with my daughter one day, actually I was nursing her. So I was stationary, and there was nothing happening. It was just me and my daughter. And this whole download of information came through. I actually had to grab my daughter, go grab my notebook, start writing down what I was getting. And it was really about that there was a lot of opportunity for me in this line of work. That you could really leave the corporate world and do this work full time. And because I was actually interviewing to go back into the corporate world, and I'd had some interviews, and things weren't working out in areas that they should have been with the jobs I was interviewing for. Things would happen where a company would come and buy that company, then that position would end. Things like that. And so, yeah, so all my guidance came through and said, you could really do this work. And then my husband said, maybe you're not meant to be in that corporate world anymore. So that's how it all kind of began. I said, well, you know what? Let me go build myself a website and see what comes from it. And
So,
here
so
I am.
was your husband supportive of this shift?
He was incredibly supportive, Kaz, and I know that that sometimes isn't the case with other people where family members or friendships, relationships don't quite understand, and so there's not that kind of support. But fortunately for me, my family's always been supportive. When my awareness came online and started to expand, I did openly talk to my parents about it. When my husband and I were dating, I said, well, listen, this is who I am. This is, kind of a part of who I am. And I've always had that level of support, which has been very helpful, been very helpful. Now, it doesn't mean that my life didn't change and other relationships didn't fall by the wayside and careers fall by the wayside, because that's kind of a part of the process is, realignment of all of the different aspects of our life that is going to align with the path it is that you're going to be moving forward on. So I did have that. Obviously, leaving the corporate world, that was a huge shift. And yeah, and then there were other relationships that kind of dissolved, which is a part of it too. But for the most part, I've always had a lot of support and understanding around me, so that has made it very, very nice.
Yeah, I think in my experience as well, sometimes it takes some major challenge in your life and then you awaken to, like in your case, it could have been that relationship and stuff that was going on that you weren't aware of. And then suddenly,
Yes.
got this download, the intuitive hit that something wasn't as it seemed. Um,
Yes.
yeah, and did you find that it took the challenge to wake you up to, oh, there's more to life than what my five senses can perceive?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I find that that's how our soul gets our attention, is sometimes some major things have to happen as a catalyst or an activation to, the wisdom it is, the higher wisdom that you're holding inside, so that your life can elevate for next steps and where it is you're heading. And so for me that was a relationship. Other people might have health issues come up, or the loss of a job, or something that is major in our life that makes us where we can't do anything else but kind of hit the pause button, because we're just so uh, there is a level of shock sometimes that come with these incidences that then allow you to stop, so you can hit the pause button and allow um, uh, guidance to come through, allow your awareness to shift, to say, well, maybe, to self-reflect and kind of allow the next steps to unfold. So yeah, oftentimes it is a major thing in life. Otherwise, the human side of us, we really like comfort. We really like what's known. We really like, and so we're kind of creatures of habit. We always go back to what it is we know because that's what's comfortable. And it's these major life experiences that stop us in our tracks so that we can redirect.
And I think, we're living in times now where people are awakening to their inner wisdom, their intuition, because it's simply time on our planet for that to happen. So, I'm frequently quoting Dr. Joe Dispenza when it
Oh,
comes
love him.
Absolutely love that, man. So I
Yeah,
can either learn and grow in a state of pain and suffering, or you can learn and grow in a state of joy and inspiration. And I
absolutely.
people have that choice. It's like you don't have to wait for that major catastrophe, the huge challenge to come your way to awaken to, okay, there's more to life than what I'm perceiving. Yeah, I need to open up to my soul, my inner wisdom, my guidance system, and that's available for me. And life will just open up and take a different path from there on. So Kim, tell me, how do you receive your intuitive messages? What's your process?
Well, I mean, meditation is a big part of that for me, and because my intuition as an intuitive channel has been is such was such a big part in redirecting my life so that I can live my life's to live my life's purpose, I would say. And it just so happens that my life's purpose is the work it is that I do. That's not for everybody. It doesn't mean that that's what is in place for everyone. Their life purpose can mean something else. Um, and I see how it's been such a pivotal part of my life in every aspect of my life. There's not a day that I don't connect to it. I talk to my intuition all the time, which is just my soul, or what some people may say the higher self. That is a foundational part of the work it is that I do, is teaching people how to do that for themselves so that they can live from their highest place, which then allows you to bring in your highest timelines and leads you into a tremendous amount of freedom from the life it is that we once lived. And so that's what I do. A big part of it is teaching people how to do that for themselves so that they don't have to live disempowered. And that's what I feel like it is when you look at the difference of when you start connecting versus when you weren't connecting.
Mm.
It's a very different way of living. And so how I receive, everybody receives their guidance differently. Um, for me, I'm a big feeler, so my clairsentience is very strong. I get a very strong feeling on things. Um, I see things too, so my clairvoyance is pretty strong. I get visions and sight in my mind's eye, as well as hearing. I hear a lot too. So when I'm in sessions, I might hear words or sentences. So it all comes in kind of together, you know. But yeah, but listen, our intuition will connect with us in different ways. So that message might come through somebody else, your guidance might work with somebody else to deliver that message, just like my husband delivered that message to me. Even though I was getting it, he reaffirmed it. Maybe you're not supposed to be in the corporate world anymore. So we
Right.
might hear it from other people. We can also hear it from ourselves in conversation as we're talking to somebody else. All of a sudden, what we're saying is like ringing true for ourselves. We go,
Yes.
oh, okay, that message, there's a knowingness now that message is for me too. Okay.
Right.
You might, yeah, go ahead. So there's all kinds of ways.
Yes. And do you know where the messages are coming from? Like, is it your soul, your higher self, your guides, or do you know?
Yes, I do. I am pretty good with that discernment. So, it's a resonance and an energetic resonance, or that's my soul talking to me. Sometimes, I might make a conscious choice to connect to one of the, archangels or something, and then I see them in my mind's eye, or I might be sitting in meditation and all of a sudden I might see some of my star family there and I can see them. I can see them. I'm like, oh, wow. So at different times of my journey, I notice I get, there may be different beings of light that are working with me more closely, depending on what it is I'm going through or what it is I need. But yeah, so it's a a sense, it's a knowingness, I see sometimes a vision. Yeah, it's all of those things combined, I think.
Right, right. And I know you may have hundreds of these, but can you share with us one powerful story of healing that either you or one of your clients experienced?
Oh, one powerful story of healing. Well, okay. Yeah, I'll go back to that initial breakup that I had when I was in my 20s. I really thought he was the one. And when that didn't turn out to be the way I thought it was, that can be pretty life shattering, like your world just crumbles right in front of you. Like, whoa, how did I not see that coming? Wow. And that's actually happened twice to me, Kaz. I've had two awakenings. One was more of a spiritual awakening, like my spiritual kind of awareness and gifts and talents came online. The second awakening, boy, that really came out of nowhere. Like I said, sometimes these things they come out of nowhere. When the first time I had it, I thought, well, I have arrived. I what else is there for me to know at this point, right? I have arrived. I can hear my guides. And then about 2016, I had a major, boy, my world turned upside down, or as some would say, right side up. But to your human, it feels upside down because nothing is as what you thought it was. And that was really what put me on the path of ascension and, really ascending in consciousness. Um, and that was a very different experience. Yeah, it was a very different experience. I feel like spiritual awakening will lead you down a path of ascension, but they're very different, what different experiences. But anyways, to go back to the first kind of awakening was, when this happened, it was like I said, was kind of earth shattering. And it took me many years to move through that breakup. But then as my awareness expanded and I started to receive more guidance around that dynamic, I can look back at this person now and just understand the role that he played for me on a soul level. That was all orchestrated by the highest levels of me and the highest levels of him. He was incredibly pivotal in my life, putting me on the path that I'm on now. And I'm forever grateful. And I have a tremendous amount of appreciation and respect for who he is, even though he had caused my human a lot of pain and suffering.
Mm-hmm.
But all of those, so when you talk about healing, Kaz, like all of those feelings that were really intense have all been neutralized now, all neutralized. So when I think back to it, there is no, I can remember in my mind at that time there was pain and suffering, but in my heart, I don't feel that anymore. I just look at
Yes.
it and I have an appreciation for it. And that's what's possible for everyone. And that's what our higher self helps us with. Our soul will help us with that and with every aspect of life. But that is what is possible for everyone. So if you are somebody listening to this who's going through a very difficult time and the emotions are at its peak, do know that your soul will guide you through that healing process so that those emotions can be neutralized and you can see a higher perspective of what that situation meant for you on a soul level, because everything is purposeful, everything holds meaning, a higher meaning. And truthfully, when you can expand into a higher level of consciousness and then you can see things from a higher place, you go, wow, that held a lot of purpose. You can actually move to a place of appreciation for what that experience was.
I think I've been through like about four of those in my lifetime. And
Okay, see, everybody's different, right?
yes, and you're right. In the beginning, the first time you think, this is it, I've arrived, I'm awake and oh, like everything.
Yes, right.
The next time, world goes
Yes,
heavy and there's chaos all over again, and you think, but no, but this shouldn't be happening now because I know all this stuff. And then it just opens you up to deeper and deeper levels, and each time
yes,
it just puts you more and more firmly on your path to serve a greater
yes,
purpose and work more deeply with
yes.
people. So yeah, and I think the most difficult things for most people to do is when we have those big challenges in our lives. And for me, there's this one question that really gives me perspective. And it's instead of asking, why is this happening to me? I ask, how is this
Hmm.
for me?
Hmm. Yes,
Biggest challenges, when you ask the question in that way, then you can start seeing, okay, there is a purpose behind this. There is a way
yes,
that the situation or this person is actually serving me. And that,
yes, right.
yeah, open you up
I love that.
answers. Mm.
Yes, serving us. That's a very it's a very empowered way to understand it, is how is it serving me?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I love
And
that.
And I think, right now we're living in times where there's really, really a lot of chaos in the world. And it's, obviously it's serving a purpose because it's time for more and more people to awaken to a higher consciousness. So what advice would you give to somebody that right now is going through a chaotic time in their lives? And sometimes it hits us from all directions. It's relationships, a health issue, it could be financial, and sometimes it's just all of it happening at the same time. So, what advice would you give someone that's going through a tough time right now to start tapping into their own intuition and higher wisdom to get guidance in their lives?
Yes. So, yes, right. Humanity is awakening. We are ascending to higher levels of awareness and consciousness. And if someone who's listening would like to learn how to connect to their own inner wisdom, I do offer that. I've got a free offering because I'm that passionate about it. Because if you think about it, if everybody was living connected to their intuition and following their guidance and living from their higher self, well, we would have an unrecognizable world, wouldn't we? And in the best of ways. So if you are interested, I do offer a written step-by-step guide and a video tutorial where we walk through that process together. And if they're interested, they can go to free offering. Um, or just my website, kimberlythalken.com, and the offering will come up. But meditation for me is key. It is an integral part of my life. I do that every single day. And I think it's really important, Kaz, that we have daily practices that we do because that, in my opinion, in my experiences, that's what we need. That's what really serves us is to have daily practices that we do for ourselves that connect us to our own inner wisdom and contribute to our own wellness. Because without those practices, for me, I would be a part swooped up in that chaos too. And that's what that outside world is really, at the lower densities set up to do is to keep your consciousness in that chaos. And then that takes you off your path of living your full potential because you're wrapped up in what's going on out here instead of creating what it is you desire. So, Kaz, as you referenced Dr. Dispenza earlier, I am a huge follower of his work. I practice it. I love his meditations. And as he says, the best way to predict the future is to create it, but you can't create it if you're swooped up in the chaos of the lower density, realities. So you have to be a master of yourself, bring you back to yourself through some of these practices, through meditation, spending time in nature, taking walks outside, maybe journaling too. I love journaling. I get a lot of guidance in my journaling, and doing things that surrounding yourself with all things that are higher consciousness. So being very mindful of what it is you're listening to, what it is you're allowing in, because we all have control over that, what we allow in. And so that would, of course, mean, minimizing your how open you are to the news, or how much you listen to the news, minimizing that. I mean, we have to see what's going on out there from, time to time, but, not letting that run in the background as you move upon your day, or tuning into it all the time, because that also will hijack your consciousness, and you don't want that. What you read, what you listen to, who you're with, the things it is you do for yourself. So those would be my suggestions. That's what I do too. So like I work from my home office, and I start my days off every day with exercise, because your body needs movement. You get your energy flowing, right? What you eat is very important. Here in the States where I am, there's all kinds of stuff coming out now on what's in our food, what's in our food supply. Especially as we compare what other countries allow. The United States is not very good about making sure that our food supply is healthy. So you have to be very mindful of what you put in your body too, because food holds a vibration, what you listen to. So inspirational things like Dr. Dispenza that reminds you of your power. Who else? Bruce Limpton, Greg Braden, all these people. There's so many people out there. We have access to so much wonderful information, that we can surround ourselves with all things of a higher consciousness if that's what we choose for ourselves. So that's what I would say, and that will minimize the noise out there, or actually shut it out and let your own inner wisdom come through. Because that's another thing too. When we are caught up in those lower frequencies, it's harder for us to hear our inner wisdom. So we really do have to be mindful of what we allow in, and how we
Yeah,
choose to
yeah,
spend our
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some brilliant tips that you provided there. Thank you for that, Kim. I want to talk as well about the hypnotherapy that you do. Um,
Yes,
can we talk about addictions? Whether it is smoking or food addictions, sugar addiction is a huge thing right now.
it
Maybe,
is.
too much TV or porn, whatever people are addicted to. How would you deal
Mhm.
client that comes to you and says, I'm doing this thing on repeat, I can't control it, help?
Yeah, well, it depends what that addiction is, but like I do offer a smoking cessation program, because I'm very passionate about people living healthier lives if they would like to do that. And teaching people how the mind works, how the mind works. That is a core part of the work I do too. Actually, there are three pillars of my work. One is as an intuitive channel. I channel higher wisdom that's going to show my clients how to navigate their life from the highest place, teach them how to do that for themselves, right? The second thing is we purify your energy field through energy healing. The third thing is we upgrade the mind through hypnosis. And what I find is when you do those three things, really beautiful transformations take place. A lasting transformation takes place, because once you expand into higher levels of consciousness, Kaz, right? And I know you know this, you can't go back. Like you
Yes.
cannot, and truthfully, you don't want to go back. You don't want to go back. Um, so anyway, so for smoking, like for example, the mind is a primitive, it's primitive. So it's not set up to help us thrive. It's set up to help us survive, as if we were living in primitive times. So that's what I mean when I say we upgrade the mind through hypnosis, because the mind, and as you know from Dr. Dispenza's work, there's what we call neuroplasticity, which means that the mind is able to learn new things. And the mind's job is to do what it is you tell it to do. So if the mind's job is to do what you tell it to do, then our job is to tell it something good. And the mind learns through repetition. So we have to keep repeating those things, because what will happen is the mind will go back to what is familiar, what is known. And the known is how it is you've programmed it. So we are being programmed through what we tell ourselves and what we allow others to tell us. So the mind, the media, for example, does a big job in programming us, mainly into a place of fear. Um, and so do you want something in the outside world to program your mind? No, you want to be the one to program it. You get to decide. It's your life. We all get to choose how it is we want to move through our life. But we don't, if we don't understand that or know that, then we become susceptible to outside forces programming us, right? So, like, for example, in my coaching program, I was recently working with somebody who's going through a divorce of 17 years. And she wanted to work on confidence levels. And what she didn't realize was that, the relationship that she was in, this person was programming her mind to lower her self-esteem, which had lowered her self-esteem and her confidence as she was getting ready to go out there into the world. So, you can have a partner that programs your mind and not even realize it. So, for example, with an addiction like smoking, we have programmed our mind to associate, oh, I'm really stressed out right now. I need a cigarette, because cigarettes are what calms me down. Well, that's absolutely baloney, because there are there are over 600 chemicals in a cigarette, and none of those chemicals and toxins are relaxants. They're all stimulants. But because you created that positive association that cigarettes equal relaxation, that's how you programmed your mind. So when you get into a stress state, your mind goes, oh, it's time for a cigarette because it's time to relax. And you program the body too. You program the body so that the body becomes the mind. And this is all Dr. Dispenza's work, why I love it, because it's so empowering once you learn about who you are. Then these are our own internal resources in here that are meant for us, that are meant to serve us. But if we're not taught how to work with these internal resources, be it our mind or our intuition, then all of that beauty kind of goes by the wayside. So what happens is, how we program the mind is we create neural pathways in the mind. And by what it is we're telling ourselves, like smoking brings in relaxation and calm. So then that neural pathway, that circuitry in the mind gets deeper and deeper and deeper, so that is the program it is you are running off of. But you can create, as I said earlier, because of neuroplasticity, your mind can learn new things. And so your mind can unlearn what it's learned and learn something new, and then create a deeper, that becomes the new neural pathway. And then that becomes the program that you live from.
Yeah.
So, we can do this for ourselves. And I teach this in some of my workshops, where you can work with someone like myself who's a hypnotherapist, and we can do that together, because the subconscious mind is what's really running the show. It's really running the show, and it's a very powerful part of who we are.
Yes, yeah, make your mind your servant, not your master.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. But when we do that, boy, it's very empowering when we do that, when we tell ourselves something different.
Yes.
And, anytime it is, Like I want to bring in a new experience in my life, whatever that may be. I go and I work with my subconscious mind and I find out what beliefs do I have around that. Because that's what it is. It's subconscious, and you don't know it's there. You don't know it's there. Just like that's what creates habits, right? Repeating of the same thing over and over again, that creates a habit. So, like, for example, when people grow up with dogs, they love dogs, right? From when you're a little child, you love dogs. They make you happy. They're fun, and then later in life, you see a dog or a dog comes into the room, you don't have to stop and go, oh, there's a dog. It's time to be happy now. That's how you programmed your mind,
Yeah.
is that dogs bring happiness. So that's what evokes that feeling, right? But it's unconscious. You're not thinking about it. You're not, there's a dog. I need to be happy now. That's how
Yes,
you
it's the,
programmed your mind. It's a
yeah,
positive association. When we get up in the morning and we brush our teeth, we're not even thinking about it. That's a habit. For me in the morning, I wake up, go from my bed, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth. I'm not even thinking about it. I just do it. So that's how our mind is programmed subconsciously. So anytime it is you want to do something new, you more than likely going to have to upgrade your mind. It's going to be important for you to see, well, what are my beliefs around this?
yes, yeah. First deprogram, then reprogram.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, now that you mentioned dogs, I know you also get intuitive messages from pets that have passed on. Can you tell us
Oh,
about
yes, it's not my
I have
forte.
two
Like, oh, you have two. You have
that
two
have
dogs
passed
now.
on. Yeah.
Oh, that have
Yeah.
passed on. Yeah, it is not it's not like like I don't advertise. I do pet readings. It's just that the more you connect into spirit, well, there's no limits on what kinds of beings you can connect with. And so when my she's right here, actually, when my dog Lexi passed, she and I keep her right here because she's one of my guides. um and this is her little collar that she
Color.
had.
Mhm.
So when she passed, I had the most profound experiences with her. That okay, I should say that was another awakening. I really should count that in, Kaz, because it was absolutely earth-shattering when she passed because she was my everything. Um, yes. Um, and when she passed that first week, she had spent all night with me. Like I was in this in between world for a few days at night where she was coming in and teaching me what she was there to show me in my life, like her point, because we do have soul contracts with our animals too. They don't come into our lives by mistake. So just as we have soul contracts with people, we have soul contracts with our pets too. And they're teaching us, they're supporting us, they're showing us all kinds of things in life. They're reflecting that back to us. So when she passed, it was the most absolutely profound experience. I literally felt her come into my heart, integrate into my heart, and there was an absolute oneness where there was no separation anymore. She became a part of me and I a part of her. And that's not something as humans that we feel, because we came into this world in separation. That's what the third dimensional consciousness is separation. And as we
Mhm.
expand in consciousness, there's a dissolution of that separation. Well, she showed me what oneness really felt like because I could feel her in my heart, and there was no separation. And she
That
showed
is
me,
so beautiful. Yeah.
oh, it's
Oh,
profound, really. It is profound. And and if you want to connect with your pets, you can hold something of theirs. Like this is her collar, and I hold it in my heart, and I just say, Lexi, mommy needs some inspiration today, or that little girl, she comes through all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
So if we keep that connection alive because we understand it, then they can play a more, we can become more aware of their presence, just like our loved ones who've passed. There's no difference. But anyways, if there's somebody who's interested in learning how to connect to their pets, go to my YouTube channel. It's just KimberlyThalken.com. And I made that commitment to her to help people connect to their pets,
okay.
to know that they don't leave us. But but yes, yes, I hope that answers your question. They never leave
Yes.
us. And this year will be 5 years. And sometimes I think about that. I'm like, wow, Alex, I don't know how I've been on this earth without you in physical form, but she is with me every day. She shows me signs. Um, she comes in my dreams. It just, all you have to do is really ask them to make their presence known. If you're having a difficult day, ask your pets who have passed to, to come be with you, to come be with you. And they will.
I always say if you want to know unconditional love, then get a dog. Because I think that's what they bring to us. They've taught me that. And when we lost our last baby, um, I was really, really distraught. And
Yes.
that evening, I asked a question. I said, I just want to know that you're all right. And then a few minutes later, I was very uneasy. So I said, let me just find something on YouTube to watch. And I found a video with Anita Moorjani. And she was talking
Yes.
going into this warehouse and it's dark and you have this flashlight. And so you point the light and then you can see what's in the light. And she kept mentioning the flashlight, the flashlight, the flashlight. And I got the message because my dog's name was Flash.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
It-
gosh,
it
Kath, I just got goosebumps. Yeah, see,
Yeah,
there you go. I'm so happy you're
yeah,
sharing that.
yeah,
They will do that. Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. And the message I got is like flashes in the light. So, that the flashlight. So it was amazing at how fast that message came. And what I did
Yes.
realize was that my daughter was asking the same question, and a friend of hers had come and picked her up and said, "Let's go out and we'll have some breakfast," and just to get her mind off all the pain, right? And
Mhm.
then while they were having breakfast, she was talking about Flash and um, what all the little things you would get up to, and what an amazing bond we had. And there was a massive flash of lightning across the sky.
Oh gosh, yes, that's what's possible, Kaz. I'm so glad that you were sharing that because people need to hear. But the challenge is that people don't connect the dots like that a lot of times. But if you hold that awareness, because like you want to receive that connection and you hold that awareness, then when it happens, you will recognize it as that. That is so powerful. That is so powerful.
And I do
Can I?
believe, that the intuition is flowing all the time, the messages are there all the time, but we've got to consciously connect with that.
You
Um,
have to consciously connect. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And
Is are you doing some writing?
I do,
Yeah, because as you're
and it
talking
really
about flat,
flows.
yes, yes. I'm just seeing you writing, and I feel I just feel like Flash would have some inspiration in that writing for some reason. I don't know what you're writing about, but
Yeah, well, recently I've just started a practice of automatic writing. So,
yes.
so
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Here, I just want to say it's yes, Flash can inspire you with the writing, but that was to let you know that Flash is here. That's why that came in, because
Okay.
Flash is still with you and sees you writing and wants you to know. Okay, that's it.
So beautiful. Thank
Yes,
God.
that's what it is. That's what it is. But okay, so Flash, um, well, I just get that. Well, Flash is very wise. Flash is very wise. And so if you wanted to ask Flash for guidance, it would come to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I remember there was a lady that did animal communication. This is
Yes, yes.
still with us, and she tuned into his energy, and she said his message was, I'm not here just for entertainment purposes.
Oh, right, right. Yeah, because he's very wise.
Yes.
Now, Caswell, why I'm like drawn to your necklace. Does that have a certain meaning?
It's the tree of life.
Oh, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay, 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 okay. Um, okay. Now I'm like I am connecting to Flash's energy, okay, okay. You know what Flash loves most about you is your laughter. And I feel like he recognized and always appreciated your jovial way of being. So he had an appreciation for that part of you. And he feels like that's one of your greatest gifts is that the joy that you're able to bring to other people because of that. Yes, yes. Anyways, yeah, he's so that he was showing me the writing because he wants you to know. He sees what you're doing.
Right. Oh, that is so precious, so precious. Oh, just love that voice so much. So, so much.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, he has a good spirit. Good spirit. But like so my little girl Lexi, she will give me inspiration too. Like you can meditate with your animals, with your pets, and they will come through. And so you're doing your writing, you know, Flash will come through in that way too.
Okay, okay. I will ask him.
Yeah.
Um, Kim, do you have any intuitive messages for our group, the Love Evolution community?
Oh, okay. Let me just see what is important for the Love Evolution community. Uh, okay, they're saying the guidance is saying to uh place your focus. Oh, okay. Okay. To realize there are a lot of distractions happening right now around us on purpose to keep us tied to an old way of being. So there are a lot of opportunities for us to be distracted and stay in a state of distraction. So be aware of that and instead redirect your focus and attention on what you want your world to be. Really get clear on that because we are part of creating the new earth of what an earth of opportunity that is based on a foundation of love. And it, it be an observer instead of a participant in that outside world, be an observer, because you will be most highest served by being a participant in your own world, the world it is you are creating for yourself. That's where you need to be a participant, not a participant in what's happening in the outside world. So they're saying to this is your time, this is your chance to create the world you want to experience, to dissolve the old perception that that outside world was your world. No, your inside world is your world, and then that becomes the outside world. So it's a backwards. We thought that the outside world was it, but it's the inside world that then creates the outside world. So it's a shifting in understanding and paradigm and way from which it is we create. We create from in here. So come inside, create from in here, and then that is what your world will be. It doesn't matter what's happening there. That it doesn't matter what's happening outside. What matters is what's happening here and what you are creating for yourself from in here. And then that becomes your experience. That becomes your experience. So that's what they're saying, to redirect your focus and attention, participate in your inside world, and be an observer only of the outside world.
Wow. Oh, thank you so much for that. That was such a profound message. And there's so many synchronicities here. One is that I picked a card yesterday from the Sonia Choquette deck, Ask Your Guides. And it was exactly about the distractions,
Yeah.
to come back and focus in here.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And the other thing
Yes.
is what our community is about. It's about becoming creators of our reality instead of just reacting to what life throws us. So we're consciously creating those epic relationships. We're consciously creating success and wealth. We're consciously creating health and well-being. So that's what the Love Evolution group is about.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the confirmation
Okay.
message that you just gave us.
Yes.
That is so beautiful. Um,
Yes.
yes,
Yes, it's so different when we're consciously creating our own reality, through our awareness and through our intention. We have so much control over that, where we place our attention and our intention. And it really will change how we move through life and the life it is we create for ourselves.
yes, yes. So as within, so without. Our inner reality creates our outer reality. So beautiful. It really
Yes.
aligns with, what we do within the group here. And Kim,
Oh, beautiful.
final question, what message would you want to leave to mankind if that message were to be repeated enough times, it becomes your legacy? What would be the one?
Oh, wow. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. That's
No pressure.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Let me just go inside and see what I, would want that message to be. Oh, okay, so you asked me how I get messages. I just heard it. This is clairaudience. So I just heard in my head that you matter. You matter. Sometimes we feel like we're just one of 8 billion people, right? How much can we really make that big of a difference in this world. You are your own universe within the grander scheme of things. You are your own universe. You are the universe. And so you do matter. You do matter because we are all in our own little kind of like microcosm, I guess, universe that we are creating, our own world, our own universe. That's how much we matter. If you are the universe, you matter. And if you are that powerful, you matter because we are all connected, because what you do affects everyone else. So while we are our own universe, we are also, a part of the greater existence as well. But I guess why I'm being shown that you are your own universe is because that's how powerful you are. That's why they're saying, don't get caught up in that outside world. Observe it, see what's happening there, maybe have compassion for people that are going through difficult times or some of the struggle and challenge that come into play. But imagine if you are your own universe, what you can do, what is possible, and how that affects everything else. So in that way, each one of us, we make all the difference. We make all the difference. That is why the message is, oh, you matter. You matter. You are the universe.
It's two little words, but they are so powerful. And I think every person needs to hear that at some point. When we're losing hope, when we're just exhausted, we need to hear that. When we're feeling invisible, we need to hear that. So that's a really, really powerful message, the microcosm within the macrocosm. That's
Within the macrocosm.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that is beautiful, beautiful. Kim, thank you so much for the time you've spent with us,
Yes.
your beautiful messages that you've given us. We will leave all of your links in the description box below. So if you need to connect with Kim, look at any of her programs and the free offer that she has, or if you want to stop smoking, there's just a ton of stuff that Kim has to offer, and we'll put all the links in the description box below. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you so much, Kaz. It is my honor, and I'm so appreciative.